here's what's interesting. When you're a bully, and and when I say a bully, I don't mean that in a negative term. I mean when you're the large stack at the poker table, when you're the world's only true superpower which can project force, your answer is force. And when you're a bully and you bully everybody, that works for a certain amount of time. But once they start to check you, once people start to stand up to you and say, okay, do something, your only answer is more force. There's nothing else you can do but come along and try and be more brutal and try and crush them harder than before. And you have to look at the world and look how it doesn't matter if you're talking about a country, it doesn't matter if you're talking about a drug gang, doesn't matter if you're talking about a cartel. Once they've gotten to a certain level of force where people deem it unacceptable to tolerate, they no longer fear your last weapon. If you're already committing war crimes and killing entire populations, and people are seeing it all over the news and all over the internet now, and the matrix is broken, you can't lie to people anymore. They're going to sit here and say, well, we don't care. We're not tolerating this. And we don't care how much you beat your chest and try and be a bully. We're uninterested. America only has one answer. And like I've said, the guarantee of power is that one day you're going to lose it. This is the guarantee of power in every single romantic relationship and every single geopolitical relationship. And it's lost via overuse of force. I don't know what America or Israel can really do now besides try and go harder than they've been going
Andrew,
before. And that's what got them in this mess.
Andrew, guys, I've just got an update, Andrew. The Iranian attack, so it's from the IDF just now. The Iranian attack that has begun also includes cruise missiles and not just drones. That just came in from Channel 13.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
It's the real deal. And this is what's happened. They got themselves here by overstepping the mark. It's really interesting. People who have power over anything need to be very careful with it. You have to very softly use it. And now they're in a mess where the only thing they can do is go to Big Brother America and say, bring more force and try to scare everybody. I don't think that's even going to work. I think that public sentiment across the Middle East is so galvanized against Israel. I don't think it's going to work. And I really do believe this is like the 4-minute mile. I think this is the beginning of something. And I think the state of Israel is in a lot of trouble. That's my personal view.
Andrew, just a quick question. You talked, 1 second. Andrew, just a quick question. You've just talked about or gave the analogy of Israel being a big bully. What happens to Israel if they have a scenario where they've got extreme amount of pressure? We know the way they've acted in this last 6 months has been extreme. What happens when they back is to the wall? And then, we know about the Samsung directive. Is that the huge concern what Alex Jones and many others are concerned about, that this could make Israel do an extreme strike?
Well, we can pray it doesn't come to that. We can pray it doesn't come to nuclear war. I would like to think optimistically what will happen is there'll be a meeting behind closed doors and democracy is deliberately instigated across all of these countries so that everything can be set up and scammed amongst the populace. And they're going to just change the government over and say sorry and say it's not us anymore. Everything's changed. We'll be nicer now. That's the optimistic view. If they really get under the cosh, is that the government will change. That will be instigated by power players behind. They'll say sorry, say it's not us anymore, and we'll all move on. But there is a serious problem, yes. Perhaps the government inside of Israel or the people who are in charge will not agree to that. And perhaps then, yes, it goes nuclear. And once a nuclear weapon is used, once again, what I said about the 4-minute mile, truthfully, at that point, I'll be looking to live on a Polynesian island for the rest of my days because I think that'll be the beginning of something which is never going to end. I think it's going to be a groundbreaking event which is going to break societal norms in nearly all ways. And nothing good can come from that, regardless of how the event ends.
Guys, would you have...
I was about to ask, do we have any information on which side Russia is on or what their input is on this entire global situation? Because, of course...
No statement, yeah. No statement. Luckily, there was a statement that was not confirmed initially in some of the groups that Putin said if the US attacks Iran, they will join the war in support of Iran, which was obviously extremely concerning, but that has not been confirmed. And
would we estimate that's true, though, behind the scenes? Wouldn't we estimate that Russia is on the side of Iran?
Would you expect Russia to enter the war? Would you expect Russia to enter the war directly?
Not necessarily directly into the war, but geopolitically and in negotiations behind the scene and in supplying of weapons. And as the world becomes more bipolar, I guess they're going to be on the side of Iran, right? So Russia has a part to play.
And they've got an incentive as well for things to escalate in the Middle East if you look at it militarily, because that moves Western resources away from Ukraine, and that is advantageous for Russia. Two seconds, Piotr. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Of course, none of us could know this, but I would estimate that Iran has had a conversation with Russia before such a large attack. I'd guess they played through scenarios and they had a discussion, and Russia has offered them certain degree of guarantees, whatever they are, that gave them the confidence to make an attack this large. I would estimate that Russia probably had a large part to play in this. I don't know what it is. None of us do. But I'm sure that Putin had a conversation with somebody and guaranteed something that made people feel better about going to war against America's number one ally. This is not a small move they're making.